Hello, internet friends, and welcome to episode number 183 of FinalBossTV. And my name is Adam KK Bay. I'll be your host today. I was muting the or bringing the volume back down so that YouTube comments don't get mad at me for talking over the sound and it being really loud. But that intro is, and this style of intro is going to slowly go away. I keep saying that because only certain people are going to watch the spec shows, and then eventually they're going to see the new intro and they'll be like, "What is this show? I don't know what this is. Is this still FinalBossTV? Does anyone know?" So I'm just trying to let the internet know that changes are slowly happening, as you've been seeing over with all the branding and everything like that. But of course, all those changes and all that art would not be possible if I have to give a first starting shout out here to all my patrons over on the show's Patreon that are dabbling in all of that behind the scenes goodness. And of course, the nerds and ladies that I have to extend my appreciation for supporting the show, the stream, and everything in between. And that, of course, is everyone here and everyone else listed over there on the behind-the-scenes tier. If you want more of the live show, because I do make essentially 2 podcasts for every spec show podcast, and there are more in the back. You should go back and listen to the old ones from Legion. So much has changed. Those are linked right down below. You can follow along with the BTS show notes, and there's a whole bunch of other stuff that you can get there, too, that I will dabble back at you. But if you want more of the show, go check out the show's Patreon down below the stream. Of course, linked on YouTube as well. It's just FinalBossTV over on Patreon. Thank you very much for letting me continue to evolve and create and curate all the art, because without you guys, I wouldn't be able to. It just wouldn't be possible. But today's show is the Demonology Warlock, and I specifically put this show here right around this time because I wanted to know sort of what the state of it was in 8.1.5. And joining me back today, we have 2 returning guests. Not on camera, unfortunately, due to some technical issues. But if you need to go see him in previous episodes, it's fine. Not, welcome back to the show, sir. It's a pleasure. Hello. Hello.
Hello? Hello? Is this thing on?
I hope so. You're taking a selfie right now? Your skin's a little weird. You okay there, sir?
Yeah. I mean, I'm a little, regretting my decisions last night, but that's fine. I've got Gatorade.
Yeah, okay. Ah, okay. But hopefully you're set to talk about demonology. You said yes right when I asked. You're like, I'm in.
I mean, I did. You're not wrong. I definitely did do that.
Yes. And then joining you today to hopefully balance everything out. Shelly, do you have Gatorade? Do you have water? You have a beverage of choice right now. Hello, sir. Welcome.
Hello.
Yeah. Is that... You gotta explain this to me. Why is that your one true love?
I drink a lot of it.
Okay. It's always... not a sponsor, by the way, but welcome back to the show, sir. Been a little while.
Thank you.
And we were going to have a... Oh, what's up? Uh-oh.
Charging my wireless headset. There you go.
There you go.
Okay, we're back.
We're back. We're going to try to find... I had a question mark for... Oh, wait a minute. Oh, I see. He just tweeted me on right now. Uh-huh. So we were trying to find other guests to fit on the show today, and normally we have... I try to do 3, right? Myself and 3 others. But between the handful of those that were just on the show or couldn't make it today due to other IRL issues, and I've been prepping these shows for weeks, couldn't get there. So it's just these 2 knuckleheads. So... If they miss anything, then just take it up with them in Discord. Don't at me at them.
Personally, I'm just going to blame Brutal for not being able to be here.
Oh, he just whispered. He just put a tweet out right now, actually. He said, Bay was kind enough to ask me to jump on the show today, but I promised my wife we'd work on the garage. Well, the garage is looking pretty good, if I might say so myself, so go watch Bay since I won't be online until tonight.
Yeah, that sounds like his fault.
Yep. So if anything goes wrong with the show, it's his fault then.
Yep.
Oh.
Well, I mean, it looks to me like chat's our 4th guest.
It is. Yes, that's definitely true. Chat is here. Absolutely. So don't spam those emotes in chat. Don't that right there. That right there. Don't do that. None of that. Get out of here. Brutal abandoned. Yeah. I don't know. He was busy. So it happens. But as the spec shows sort of unfold, every single spec gets a show. It'll take like a year to get through all of them. So guests that you have that you want to see, that you want me to sit down with, then let me know in Discord or on Twitter, right? So I don't know I don't know everyone. There could be other ones that I don't know about. But we have some THD fans in chat today. This horrible emotes. Got to bring THD on for Affliction just to troll him as his chat trolls us. Maybe we'll do that in the future. We'll see. However, I want to go back around real quick here and introduce yourselves to the internet again in case they don't know who the heck you are. So what do you guys dabble in when it comes to World of Warcraft? How long have you been part of said dabbling? And if you have any opening shout-outs and things you want to go over or resources you need to make sure you plug, this goes to you first, sir.
Well, I've been around the Warlock people for quite some time. It's been since at least mid-Wrath or so, when I started doing guides and stuff. I'm the main curator / owner / creator of the Lock One Stop Shop, where we, as a combined group effort with a number of members in Discord, curate guides for all 3 Warlock specs, boss tips, etc. Yeah, I've been around the block more times than I'd like to count, and I am here yet again.
When was the original curation of the Warlock One Stop Shop, by the way, or the Lock One Stop Shop?
Yesterday was the official 2nd year of the domain being live.
Ooh, that's not planned. I did not know this.
So it's been alive for 2 years. This iteration of Loss, the one that everyone seems to enjoy much better than the first iteration, is about a year and 3 months.
Wow, that's awesome. Not every spec or class community has like a forward-facing website that curates and blops all your stuff into one place. But I remember when Lost came out 2 years ago now, there was an interesting trend or like reaffirmation of other specs going like, because so much is in Discord now. But what do you feel that is better to have a website domain to host stuff before, with just having Discord as being the main like think tank of where stuff gets posted, or like the abridged version? Do you still think that a website forward facing is a better resource right now?
Yeah, because the website is going to give you all of the information in a more spread out and more convenient way for you to review it, versus Discord. Like, who wants to sit on Discord and read 1,000 pins, or like go into a channel with like just the entire guide? Like, I'm pretty sure each of these guides is close to 5,000 or 6,000 words. No one wants to go into Discord and read that, and then like go back to Discord to have to re-look at it over and over again.
Okay.
So I think there is definitely a good spot for like forward-facing websites like that, because A, no one reads pins, and B, there's just way more information and a better way of showing the information available to you on a website versus on Discord.
Now, wait. People read pins. Come on.
No, they don't. I'm pretty sure every single WoW Discord has like a read the pin command, because no one reads pins.
Yeah. Probably true enough. Even though it's such a great function. Yeah, can we get some exclamation point pins in chat right now? Let's see if it works. It doesn't work in my chat because we're not in Discord right now. But we'll see. How about you, Shelly? What have you been dabbling in the World of Warcraft? How long have you been doing said dabbling, sir?
Well, I've been playing Warlock since TBC, since I first started playing. On and off, started playing really hardcore in Legion, mainly Mythic Plus, where it was basically AF fanboy all the way. BFA been leaning towards Demonology ever since Battle for Desire Lore release, and have been enjoying it very much. It's very fun. Also, recently been promoted in the Warlock Discord, that not mentioned, from Council to MVP. So I'm really proud about that. It's a major achievement. and just wanted to share that.
What does that entail exactly?
I have no idea.
So I can chime in a little bit. So basically, there's like different tiers of people that we like trust, basically, in the Discord.
Okay.
So council is like the very base person who can get some of the background information that like the back end people talk about, and it's just like a way of identifying that this person knows what they're talking about.
Okay.
Then there's people who specifically curate things for loss. There's a color for that, and MVP is like the, hey, these guys are top trusted people. What they say is right. You should listen to what they're saying for sure.
Okay.
Usually.
Oh.
Usually. Unless it's like Vin talking or something, then like,
I mean, everyone can be wrong, but I like to know that I like to think that I know what I'm. At least.
What? Yeah, I think chat wants to know what rank is THD.
I'm pretty sure he's just the basic white boy.
Wait, is that a rank?
I mean, it could be.
Okay. I like that one. But to move to a little bit more of a, I don't know, I was going to say serious, but then I immediately thought that it's more of a somber tone, is your thoughts on sort of the evolution and the demon form versus metamorphosis. What has changed for the master of demonic pets from mists to warlords to legion to battle for Azeroth? And how has that evolution of the Demonology Warlock been over the past few expansions compared to now? So are there any key things that you missed from incarnations past, like which parts in particular? And then what would you like to see return, if it's anything in that bucket? Shelly, what do you think of the timeline that you've been playing for Warlock?
Last time before BFA that I played heavily Demonology was the what's it called? Blackhand raid. I literally cannot think of it.
Blackrock Foundry.
Blackrock Foundry,
Yeah.
exactly. Just slipped my mind. But and the foresight bonus that give you triple chaos wave, and how fun that was to play. That was so fun to play. So outside of that rendition, I didn't really play that much Demonology until recent months. So I think Not can probably delve more into the history. But if I were to bring something back, it would definitely be the triple chaos wave gameplay from Blackrock Foundry.
Now, you brought up in your little intro that you were the AF fanboy, and is that... I always sort of rib on Affliction Warlock and Demonology whenever I do my testing every expansion the past 3 in a row. When I do every single spec twice and do a deep dive and make sure everything works and figure it out and bugs and whatever. But I always say that they're really similar, just that you have pets that are dots that are animated versus dots that are just cast and they're little squares. So what is the key difference then that you've seen you can take Affliction to compare to Demonology now then?
Well, right now, the main difference is that a lot of your pets as Demonology are counted as guardians, which you don't have direct control over. So you cannot just move them around as you want to. But they will swap eventually, apart from Tyrant, which is really determined to hit the target that you put it on until it dies or it times out. So with if you compare it to Affliction, you have more control as Affliction over where you put the damage and where to change your buttons then. But like when you press a button on Demonology, it's kind of going into that target that you press it on until it feels like swapping.
That's true.
So there is like one caveat to that is like implosion does exist and you can use that to target swap. It's just you like transfer all the damage from whatever target you were hitting before into that new target, but then you have to restart basically and like flip-flop back and forth in order to like effectively also, quote unquote multi-dot.
Also Dreadstalkers. So
yeah, Dreadstalkers are on the target forever.
Can you brought up Dreadstalkers? Can we get that tooltip to actually be something by chance? Or is the Warlock community that plays Demonology just accepted that it's one of the worst tooltips in the game? And then you guys just...
Yep.
I don't even know what it says. I really don't.
I'm actually gonna look it up right now because I know it's awful, and I always bring this up or call Dreadstalk is what it's called. Oh yeah, so summons 2 ferocious Dreadstalkers to attack the target for 12 seconds.
Yeah, that seems fine.
Nowhere in there does it talk about how they actually have an on-cast hit. They have that Shadow Bite ability, or that Dread Bite or whatever. That's not in the tooltip. Nor does it actually put anywhere in there how much damage they will actually do during that 12 seconds. Nothing. It's like an RP tooltip. What is this?
Yeah. Don't you know that they basically are just RP?
They're there to give you core procs so you can summon more imps.
Yeah.
Oh.
They just like to hang out.
They like that just to hang out. Okay. I think I've reported that in Legion and in BFA, asking why is this the worst tooltip in World of Warcraft history? It doesn't say anything. Or maybe it says all it needs to say.
I mean, to be fair, like, Hand of Gul'dan has a decent description on the tooltip, but there's no description for how much damage the imps are going to do. It just says it's going to summon up to 3 imps based on soul shards consumed. So, like, it doesn't give the information about the primary dot effect that we have anyway. So
interesting. Almost like that could use some help too.
I mean, the thing with that is like if they added more information to that tooltip is going to be a novel. So
maybe. I guess that just comes down to how much does Blizzard, and I'm only ribbing on this point because this is sort of what I've seen as Demonology has evolved, is that the community has to figure out so much more. I was looking through the Lock one-stop shop for like how Demonic Tyrant empowerment works and how imp energy works and all this other stuff that you guys have to math and figure out and sort of sculpt for the community to understand that it's just nowhere in the game. It just exists.
I think that's for me anyway, from like the theory crafting end of things, I think that's what makes it fun to like learn about the spec. And like actually have to play the game to find out how you do the damage.
Well, since you've been playing the game for this long, what is your evolution from Mists to now with Demonology Warlock? Is there anything you want to pull from the past and move it forward? Or is there anything that you need to just like, get out of here, don't that? What do you think?
I think that they could bring back an iteration of some kind of metamorphosis and like incorporate Chaos Wave back into the spec. Like bring back like stances, basically, make us caster warriors kind of thing.
Ooh.
So like toggle this ability, your ability or your Hand of Gul'dan changes in the Chaos Wave, but does the same thing with like a harder hitting effect or something. To give us like another cooldown and like maybe get rid of Tyrant, as much as of a fan of a Tyrant I am, maybe something like that instead to bring back a little bit more of the old feel, but continue in the new feel of Demonology.
Do you think, because now you make the armchair dev wheels start turning, do you almost think that should be a core base part of the class or almost an optional talent where instead of you summoning the demonic tyrant, you sort of
become the tyrant?
Exactly.
I mean, I think that's a great idea because no one uses everyone uses all 3 of those talent tiers, but I feel like it's not like Sacrifice Souls, for example, is like really boring as a talent.
Sure.
That could bring additional flavor.
Yeah, because demonic consumption, and we'll go over talents a little more later. Demonic consumption is just powering up your tyrant, but it would be a numbers game unless they actually fine-tuned it enough where it's just almost a form or function gain, right? Even like a glyph. Maybe a glyph could do the same thing. It just turns you into, I don't know. That could be fun because I think that's the
like
biggest.
You cast Tyrant and you become the Tyrant on a glyph or something.
Yeah. Because I think that's the one thing that we're glossing over elephant in the room, but I think any Warlock misses just turning into the meted Illidan form, which now obviously doesn't exist the same way because of Demon Hunters, but Demon Hunters is much. I just think they're totally different schools, right? I don't know.
I mean, like, it doesn't have to turn us into, like, the old school metamorphosis either, because, like, that's a very outdated model and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. But, like, if it turned us into the Demonic Tyrant model, like, I think that would be cool.
That could be something there, but we'll have to see. That's not going to change it to a 9.0, but I also have been saying a long time that this current talent model and this way the game is sort of baseline designed, I don't think it's in 9.0 anymore. So we'll have to just wait. We'll have to wait and see. But I think this is time enough as any to stop pandering around other discussion points. Because the reason why this show exists and why the YouTube title will be what it is, I suppose, is when it comes down to math. And is Demonology Warlock still OP, air quotes, now? Before, we knew if you didn't think it was, then you're just smelling your own farts on cloud 9, just not paying attention. But walk me through what changed in patch 8.1 and why is it okay or not okay, I suppose? Or are there any problems and tweaks that still need to be made with Demonology right now? Essentially, is it dead?
Not really dead. It's definitely more balanced now than it was, for sure. There
It
were
was insanely overpowered.
Yes, like extremely much, especially like in 5-man content. It was a little overbearing. You could pretty much just do whatever you wanted to do, and it didn't matter.
Right.
The 8.15 changes. There were a lot that they kind of glossed over and didn't really include or give much information on that changed. Like in 8.1, for example, they fixed all of the pet regen energy, basically, that was scaling off of haste double dipping. So they said they fixed all of the pets, but didn't actually fix Felguard. So we were doing all of our sims and stuff with a fixed version of it because we assumed they fix it like they said. Apparently it wasn't, so they fixed that again finally. So that affects both our base Felguard plus the talented Felguard. Explosive potential obviously was nerfed. That's fine because it was insane beforehand anyway. And they fixed a imp consumption bug where you could use your tyrant and also implode at the same time and gain the benefit of the Azeroth trait and also the buff to tyrant. So
that I totally thought crafted that on stream a while ago because I don't know what it was. So that it totally you're taking advantage of a summon animation and the GCD to activate both the effect of demonic consumption and implosions. What was it? The damn explosive potential.
Yeah.
So
like you would cast Tyrant, and within the GCD, the animation of the imps being sucked into Tyrant being like consumed, you could also implode them and gain the EP buff while also gaining the benefit of the Tyrant. So it was like double consuming, basically.
All right. Felt so good though. Carter brings up in chat.
It felt amazing.
Yes, especially since the explosive potential buff lasts for exactly the same duration as Tyrant. So when your Tyrant ends and you need to refresh your buffs, you just press Implosion again and you don't lose any value from it. Well, now that they fixed it, you need to implode the first set of imps that you cast in your Tyrant. And if you're not too familiar with how Tyrant works, it basically freezes the energy decay of your imps, so they keep casting fireballs, but they stay at 100 energy. So you are losing, like, I think the EP nerf itself was around like 7%, the single target loss. But in total, with all the bug fixes, because of you had the Felguard double dipping into haste, and then you had of course explosive potential giving you 40% haste permanently. So it turned out to be like closer to 20% nerf single target,
right?
Which is, I think we have to delve deep into the archives to find the last time a spec was nerfed this much.
Especially based off, like, the only actual nerf that happened was the EP nerf.
Yeah.
Everything else was a bug fix. So basically a bug fix was like 13-15% of a nerf on bug fixes. Which is an insane number.
Yeah. I'm not advocating against it. I'm just saying that it was this, and then it became the other thing that it is now, which is still fine. Because that was less fun.
I think that's what was brought up in my chat a few days ago when I was talking about how Demonology was the show coming up today, that I looked at the value of the explosive potential haste being cut down. It was like 40% of the actual haste value, somewhere in there. Yeah.
35, yeah.
35. So that looked proper. And I was like, okay, that makes sense, because having permanent lust outside of lust, a little strong, right?
And
you
then
still
having
kind of have
lust
that.
on lust is pretty good too.
Right.
I mean, yeah, you still definitely have it. Basically, the value of EP went from 3 EPs of old value is now current value of 2 EP. And it's still, by and large, the best talent or the best Azeroth to have.
Sure.
And you still want to have it. It's just not as insanely overbalanced.
Right. But I wonder if taking away that gameplay element was too much. Is what I'm getting at, is if that was a little too far. Obviously, if it's not an intentioned thing for Blizzard to actually have you do, that makes sense. But it does seem, at least from the chat reaction and your guys' part of it, that it looked like that was a lot of fun to play. And so you've lost, the numbers aside, you've lost something that was interactive and fun to do. And I'm not sure, maybe too far on that part. Because numbers-wise...
and there isn't really a way to fix it unless they reintroduce that gameplay element,
Sure.
which was like a very obvious bug. So there's not going to be any way of them like fixing that, like realistically.
Okay.
Regardless of how fun it was or not to play, that was a bug, and we were having fun playing with the bug, and now it's gone, and we get to play like it's supposed to be played. So
right. I wonder what they have on, say, like the whiteboard or the dartboard at the Blizzard offices when the community finds these sort of things, right, with different specs, and they actually think that they're a good implementation of potential gameplay, but they don't work in the bugged version right now, and they may use them as an idea later on. Curious if that ever comes up in their meetings internally with the devs of the game, or they just whitewash things away that, just wipe it off the whiteboard. It's gone. Very curious. But what's up?
Oh, I was just gonna say, it's hard to say like what they're thinking in that regard, right? Like, as much of it as it was fun, and I guarantee you, if they played it like that, they would also have the exact same thought that it was fun to play that way. I just don't think there's any way that they'll be reintroducing that even in the slightest. So
the whiteboard just says we'd rather you not play Demonology anymore.
I mean, pretty much.
But they're all pretty close together. Oh, I guess, and great oldies. But that being said, now summoning, or as I say, dotting your way through Mythic Plus dungeons and raiding now, how does Demonology sort of stack up against Affliction and Destruction? Because with any of the pure DPS classes, they're going to have, essentially, when one may or may not be the greatest to have right now, you have two other full DPS options you can just swap to. But where does the decision get made now for Mythic Plus? Do you take Demonology for AoE, as Affliction or Destruction for single target? Like, where do you recommend and go back and forth now with what you figured out and what has changed for both of these sort of parts of the game? And Shelly, you maybe have a little more in this. You've done some Mythic Plus before.
A couple. Basically, when it comes to like choosing a spec for Mythic Plus right now, hands down, Demonology does the most damage out of the 3 Warlock specs in any situation.
Okay.
You could the thing is with Affliction and Destruction particularly is that they're too cooldown reliant. They have 3-minute cooldowns. That is the majority of their AoE and single target damage. While Demonology has their Tyrant with Demonic Consumption as the most popular talent choice in the last row, as their single target cooldown on a 1.5 minute cooldown. And then they have either Bombers or Demonic Strength on a 1 minute or 30-second cooldowns, respectively, which is the majority of the AoE gameplay, in addition to Implosion and Legion Strike from your pets. So it becomes, damage-wise, Demonology has an amazing toolkit for Mythic Plus. It has everything you want. On-demand, low cooldown AoE, burst, good sustained AoE, burst single target, and sustained single target. They have everything. While Destruction and Affliction are kind of relegated into like, do I have my 3-minute cooldown? If no, then, well, I guess you're out of luck.
Okay. And So there's no other decisions that say would bring, because I would say set bonuses, right? But at this point right now, it's just Azeroth traits. And we don't know how the next going to change things. When we get to the future Warlock shows, we'll bring up, of course, how the Heart of Azeroth changes and impacts choices therein. Because you bring up the cooldown problem, but what if Affliction and Destruction get something on their neck that isn't just baseline that everyone else has? We'll have to actually see. And actually, Gato was talking right now about Mythic Jaina and things. So how does that change for raiding right now? Because you've just recently downed Mythic Jaina, Shelly. I'm working on it right now.
Yeah.
So
before the nerf, because of how the fight plays on Mythic Jaina specifically, all that matters in the end is how much damage you can do from you hit the wall until the boss dies. Because everything before then is basically just control. You will be able to beat the damage requirement regardless. So before nerf, Demonology having a 1.5 minute cooldown in what is essentially a 2-minute fight at that point, from you hit the wall until the boss dies, is around 2 minutes. So 1.5 minute cooldowns is extremely powerful. And when you have Destruction and Affliction on 3-minute cooldowns, for the same reasons as they were inferior in Mythic Plus, they were inferior on Jaina. But with the nerfs coming in now, it's basically equal. You can play whatever spec you want, and they will all do similar damage on Jaina.
Right. I think that's what the community and the players want to hear, and they may or may not get up on, is that if they say, I like throwing Chaos Bolts, but because of the implosion, Demonic Tyrant synergy that Demonology's had for a while, they've learned to play Demonology, but now that's been cut back to not be so egregious. Those Warlocks can just go back to Destro, and they enjoy the gameplay loop that they're playing, right? They're not suddenly hindering their raid group. Is that correct?
Yeah, definitely. Like you can for Mythic Jaina right now, you can. I'm pretty confident in saying that you can play whatever spec you want of the Warlock specs, and you'll be just fine.
That's pretty close to what mages. We might see what mages echo next Sunday when we bring up Arcane Mage to see if they're in the same boat, because mages have been pretty close all expansion as well, barring a few teeter-totter bits here and there, but now they seem pretty close together, which I think is kind of rogues outside of, we talked about rogues last week. Subtlety is in a weird spot, but Outlaw and Assassination are really, really close. So it's good to hear that when the pure DPS specs, and we'll see Hunters in a little while. Maybe Hunters are way out of whack right now. So, but not from what you have soaked up and gotten out of this with the changes that have happened recently. Is there anything that you need to pinpoint or put a pin in or put a moratorium on that you want to throw out there to the community about what has happened with this? Or are you on the same page with Shelly?
I'm pretty much on the same page as Shelly. Like, play whatever you want. It's all gonna work out. Like, I've said this for eons, and even like in expansions past when I played Demonology when it wasn't Flavor of the Month.
Right.
It doesn't really matter that much as long as you're like competing within your raid. Play whatever you want. Like, it doesn't. You don't have to be pigeonholed into one thing or another. Play what you want, and if the boss dies, the boss dies. That's great. If you need something else, then obviously go and play something else. But like, if you want to play Demonology in this raid. If you want to play Destro, play Destro. If you want to play F, play F. It's not going to really matter. We're still going to be like one of the top DPS in the raid anyway, so just do whatever you want.
Okay. And how about, this is a bit of a hat in the ring question, and some of the Warlocks in chat can chime in so we can get a wall of your response as well. But if you had to pick one Warlock spec right now to play 24/7 for the rest of Battle for Azeroth, which one and why would you pick that spec? Does it come down to what you enjoy most about it? Is it the numericals? Is it the kit? Not, what would you say?
Yeah, it was play Demonology. I mean, I basically do it anyway.
Oh,
because the like
yeah,
like the other two specs are basically not playable in Mythic Plus, and if I ever want to do even like a basic 15, the other two specs just don't do anything essentially in Mythic Plus. They don't bring enough to the table, so I'll just play Demonology if I had to.
right. Yeah, a basic 15. Shelly, how about you?
Right now, I have to say I've turned from an AF fanboy to a demo fanboy. It flows really nicely. You always have something to do that feels impactful when you play Demonology. At least that's how I feel about it. Whilst when I play AF and Destro now, it really feels like it's just about the cooldowns. And while that is fun when you have Infernal up, everything in between is just kind of me. But the
Yeah.
Demonology feels like it's kind of like it's a constant flowing spec, if that makes
Yeah,
sense.
like I just did Blockade as Destro, and it was a snooze fest when Inferno wasn't up. Like, complete snooze. So, to me, if I want to play a spec 24/7 for the rest of the game, I'm going to go with a spec that I actually have fun playing outside of their cooldowns.
Now, that's a topic I'll bring back up in a little bit, which is interesting. It's almost like you see the show notes, but we're talking about Demonology now, and I want to get through because I think a lot of this has changed since the onset of the beta when I was testing stuff and talking to people and sort of osmosing the information that was out there and people were figuring out. What is the Demonology Warlock opener like nowadays? This is a new segment I want to go through on the show is how do you open? How do you start on a boss pull? Or you could even compare that to a single target boss pull or like a giant reaping pack in Mythic Plus right now, right? Big AoE pack. So are there any, is there a strict hierarchy that you open to? What do you do?
Yes and no. I mean, it depends on what traits you have. Like, the opener completely changes depending on what traits you have. So, like, there's actually like 4 or 5 or 6 or like at least 3 or 4 different openers you can do depending on what traits you have. So, and what talent you have too. So,
and that's before you get into the resources that you have available to you in the moment. Like if you go into, let's say you're on a Mythic Plus boss fight, and you go in, okay, do I have 5 shards, 4 shards, 3 shards? Do I have 1, 2, 3, 4 core procs? Do I have dogs available? Do I soul strike available? Do I have tyrant off cooldown? Is it coming off soon? How long is my EP buff? There's so many factors, but I have condensed it down to Sjeletyven patent pending opener. It goes like this: assuming explosive potential, get buff, use cooldowns, get to 5 shards, summon imps, summon tyrant. So that's like 5 steps, I think.
Sure.
Works every time.
I like how Gatto in chat. Oh, apparently, and press implosion first.
Yeah, that's the get buff part.
That's the get buff part, right? I gotta scroll
get
back
buff,
up.
Use cooldowns, get build to 5 shards, summon imps, summon tyrant.
When I preface that quick, Gatto in chat, I don't even know anymore. Figuring out openers now. So there's just a lot of.
I mean, I'm definitely in the same boat as Gatto. Like, figuring out openers right now is completely insane because it is so dependent on Azeroth trades, like what Shelly was saying, what cooldowns you have available, what type of a fight it is. Like, realistically, just press buttons and you'll do fine. Like, summon Tyrant with at least 2 packs of imps and you'll do fine. Doesn't matter.
Okay. But that seems so. That's the note that I put here without even knowing the answer. So moment to moment little decisions seem to be part of it.
Literally everything.
Yeah.
Now, to compare that to destruction or affliction, it sounds like not as many decisions to be made there, I guess.
Yeah, press cooldowns, press buttons.
Set up your cooldowns correctly and be efficient within the span of those cooldowns, and that's like the majority of it. While like Demonology is a much more like every cast matters more.
Okay. So that sort of wraps this up then, put a bow on all of this with a little bit of Warlock think tank. And why or what do you think or feel or perceive or can decipher about the Warlock class in general over the years that continually causes issues between Blizzard and the community of players therein? Is it almost like a running gag in World of Warcraft now that there's always this useful or continuously OP in some way, shape, or form spec you can play with Warlock. And there's a bit to unpack there, but why do you think that there is this, don't play Demonology now, we got to nerf this to the ground all of a sudden, this, then just with one little either set bonus, like the triple chaos wave you talked about earlier today, or something, explosive potential, all of a sudden, something happens. And the Warlock community just flies out the handle. Why do you think this keeps coming up? Because I don't think other specs really ever get the same, it's something with Warlocks again.
I think it's because Warlocks use 1,000 Guardians, and they don't know how to fix Guardians or buff Guardians, implement Guardians properly. So things just slip under the rug. They're like, oh yeah, this is a pet. It's not a pet, but it is a pet, but it also isn't. So we'll just throw some spaghetti code at it. And it's been like that for eons.
Shelly, what do you think?
I don't know, to be honest. Like I don't.
that's sort of, yeah.
No, it's like it just seems like I am a Warlock main, and every single tier is like, okay, I guess this thing is overpowered now, and then you just do the thing, and then you do well. But for a reason why it's that way, I honestly couldn't tell you.
I think a lot of it in the past, previously at least, has been related to like AF scaling in endgame, and now that like secondaries are more of like a very constant thing, like you're at level and it's basically always going to be this level of mastery or haste or crit or whatever the case is.
Right.
So there's less of that scaling issue with Affliction at least, but like they tuned that down. That's great. Finally, they can put AF in like an okay place, but then like Demonology is just something they don't know how to fix, I think. So they just throw things at the wall and see what sticks.
I don't know. There's been a lot of specs that have gone through definitely expansion to expansion iteration, but the situation with Warlocks, some of just how much Destro keeps changing with how its resource works back and forth, or how they want you to either be a super drain oriented spec or throw Shadow Bolts as Affliction, or how many dots you have or what your dots do. And then now with Demonology, how all the different pets interact and how many you can summon at one time. And you can summon a lot. Spoiler alert. I don't know. I got up to 16, 17 random, tons of different demons up on the beta. I don't know if that's changed now, or you can get more or less. Probably more, I guess, with the amount of haste you can get. But I think the fantasy might get more.
You can definitely get more.
Oh, okay.
Right? Or at least previously to them fixing EP or the implosion thing, you could definitely get way more.
Yeah.
So
there's just so much screen clutter with Demonology. Well, only they see it. We don't see all of it. It doesn't render for everyone else that isn't that Warlock. Thankfully, my gosh. But here's a fun question then. Do you have off the top of your head, not how many demons have you had active at one point in time?
Are we talking with or without another portal?
Yeah. Just max count you've ever seen active at one point in time.
So I have a WeakOr that tracks as many demons as get summoned through Nether Portal.
Okay.
And I cap out at 18 in over 2 rows, basically. Or at least that's what I'd like to cap out at. That has gone up to 4 rows. So, like, at least 28, I would say, including imps. At least.
That was before they fixed implosion.
Yeah, that was before, yeah. Now it's probably like a little bit less than that, but it's still like an insane number.
Shelly, what do you have? Similar numbers as well?
I don't track my demons.
He just YOLOs.
I thought that would have been a really good situation to see Knott's face there, but damn.
I really don't.
I mean, I already knew. I know that he doesn't, and it's like not really that big of a deal. A lot of tracking, like imps, even for example, or more specifically, like the Nether Portal pets. A lot of tracking that is basically just flavor. You don't need to track it. It's completely irrelevant information. So, like him not tracking demons is like not shocking or even detrimental, even in the slightest.
You go through certain cycles when you play Demonology, and you get a feeling for when your imps time out, and
Sure.
so it doesn't really. I don't need to see when every single imp times out. I just need to know that if I press these buttons in succession, then I can press Implosion with before my imps time out, or I will be able to press my Tyrant in an efficient manner so that it consumes a lot of the imps. So I don't feel like I need to track it all. It would be, I wouldn't say useless information, but maybe information overflow.
Okay. It was mostly like, it's a sort of a nod to when you ask a Shadow Priest, how many stacks of Insanity did you get? Right? It's those kind of things. How many stacks of Void Form did you get before you knocked out? It's always trying to get that one more, right? Because that was a ton in Legion versus now. So it's little mini games like that.
I do use a Weak Aura for my Tyrant to see how big my Tyrant becomes.
Oh, there it is.
But that is mostly to see what works and what doesn't work. So like bigger number is better.
Sure.
We like big numbers.
Yeah.
So if I do a thing and then I see a big number, then I try to do the thing again next time. And maybe
Shelly,
I can work on the thing.
Did you ever update your aura so it actually shows you the right number?
No, I don't need that because the relative power is what matters.
I mean, you're not wrong, but like now you're just misleading your stream.
Oh.
Okay, I'll look into it.
Is Shelly's Weak Aura showing more?
Less.
No, less.
Less. Oh, why do you? Oh, come on! Not's trying to help you out. Throwing you a bone here. Sandbagging. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's fair. But I want to make sure chat gets some time to throw their questions around. I have some rapid fire things to go here, so my guests can take a quick little break while I sort of plug some of my mid-show commercially kind of things right here. And if you need to go take a break yourself, walk around, stretch a little bit, grab a drink, or prepare your questions, get them ready in chat. But again, I want to make sure that I thank everyone for tuning in today. If you missed any of the past shows or want to know where all of the stuff that FinalBossTV has that I put out on the internet, it's pretty simple. You go to FinalBoss.tv on your nearest internet browser. This isn't your first rodeo. You sort of know where all this goes. We have some more updates coming to the website here soon, but where all of the actual audio-only podcasts go, all the episode archive on YouTube, all the side content there. If you want to support the show, the stream, and everything in between through Patreon or through merch, you can do that. But of course, I have to give a huge, awesome shout out to my friends over at Corsair. FinalBossTV is now partnered and sponsored with Corsair. The link's down below the stream and on YouTube if you're looking at getting any parts, pieces, bits, and bobs for an upcoming build, and you're going to do it anyway, and you want to go with the Corsair parts, then if you do so through my link down below, you're going to do the same thing you're going to do anyway, but support what I do to make sure I can keep making shows happen and keep evolving the show moving forward. Additionally, Elgato, I'm with both of them now because Corsair owns Elgato. Elgato makes the stream peripherals and a whole bunch of extra bits and bobs too. So if either of those links are, of course, down below or in the video description box on YouTube. If you're listening to audio only, then come over on the stream. It's just twitch.tv/FinalBossTV. It's all right there. But thank you very much to those that are supporting the show, either directly or my sponsors as well. It's been a long time coming because I have right here. Right there, the PC that I'm playing on right now that I've been streaming to you guys on for the past 2 years is almost all Corsair guts. And through Corsair and the Intel little influencer package I sent out a little while ago to a whole bunch of the WoW community folks, I'm building a brand new rig to stream everything for you guys here. So, which headset is that again? It's funny you might ask. This is actually the HS70 SE wireless version. You can get a wired version if you like. I'm using the wireless one because I don't have to worry about this crap anymore. And it comes with a microphone. While I'm showing off those, if you haven't heard yet, and depending on when you watch this on YouTube, if you're watching it right now, I'm actually going to be giving away not one, but two of these. These are World of Warcraft unopened Battle for Azeroth collection editions. They're a little heavy because the freaking book and the metal and stuff inside of them. Well, these are going to give away in my Discord. So that link is also down below. And this is basically my birthday, which is weird because on my birthday, I'm giving stuff away instead of getting stuff. But I mean, your support is what I want. So these are giving away in Discord this month. So check out for that. That'll be posted soon, sometime this week, actually. So depending on when you watch this, jump into my Discord channel. You can give me feedback. You can submit questions for upcoming shows, see when things go live. And that's the best way to get in touch with me outside if you want to hit me up on Twitter. But not everyone uses Twitter. So if you have a question or a suggestion for a show, then Discord's the place to go. I didn't mean to rhyme that. Just sort of ad-libbing, right? I don't script this stuff because it doesn't sound natural if you're reading off of a script. But that's that. If you have questions, now is the time. So let me go. Shelly, did you get another bottle of Pepsi? Not a sponsor. You good? Uh-oh. Hello? There he is. He's
Hello.
back.
Yep. Hello. Still on the same bottle.
Oh, okay.
Just, my computer froze for a second though.
Yep. Now, are you partaking? What do you have? How many?
So good.
You're on what bottle of Gatorade are you on right now, sir?
I mean, I'm still on the same one. I'm not that in the dump. But
Okay.
It's just one of those things that helps you go, just a little bit.
Just making sure you're still with us. All right.
Oh, well, I appreciate it.
The nitty-gritty chat Q&A. Yeah, please sponsor me, Pepsi. Yeah, I don't know anyone from Pepsi listening. Sjeletyven, he's your guy. The part of the show that I sort of pieced together here is a little bit of FAQ, rapid-fire things. And, of course, if chat brings up anything, maybe, I don't know, some of the other warlocks in chat could test your knowledge and throw up a question or two in chat that we can go through. But are there any... This is a canned question. Let me scroll up to this real quick here again, because this comes up all the time, especially now we have Zandalari trolls and Kultirian humans and whatever else, all these new allied races coming in, which unfortunately warlocks can't take part in.
I mean, they could take part of it initially, but then they said nah. But baited question: is there any major difference in DPS ratios for Demonology Warlocks? So the difference between the worst race, which is Nightborn, and the best race, which is Troll, is less than 2%. So play whatever you want to play. If you want to look like a pretty boy, there's lots of pretty boy classes or races that you can play.
Ooh.
If you want to look like a troll, I guess you can look like a troll. Doesn't really matter. You can literally play anything you want.
Yep. I'm just scrolling through the faction differences from Blood Mallet via the Wowhead guide that you put together. Nightborn is roughly in this build 27.18 thousand. Troll 27.59 thousand. Oh boy, the differences.
Yeah, it's pretty huge.
Not a whole lot going on here. I suppose that it comes down to, and this is the argument that comes up a lot now, is if the damage ratios aren't all it's cracked up to be, then normally you're looking for the utility you could bring, right? The little extra bits and pieces that you can work in and around there. So Void Elk gets a little extra mobility, stuff like that works out. So same with the Goblin. So got that.
What's mobility when you have like Burning Rush though? Like, do you really need it? I don't think so.
This is a warlock.
Between Burning Rush, Teleport, Gateway, you got so much mobility you don't even know what to do with it all.
This is a warlock thing.
Yeah. Yep.
Technically, Burning Rush does Brutal. Shout out to Brutal, by the way, for not being on the show. Does Brutal still leave Burning Rush on all the time in raids to help his healer's pad?
I would imagine he does. I mean, back in Legion when I was raiding in SNF, for one of the world first kills that we had, I literally had Burning Rush on for 100% of the pull and didn't realize or turn it off. And no one said anything. So, what's a little extra damage when we already take reduced damage? So
why move out of mechanics when you can just always stand and fire?
See, that's another Warlock thing.
That's a Warlock thing for sure. I don't like it.
I've been playing Dark Pact more and more in dungeons because of the high keys that we're doing. Really helps with some of the mechanics to alleviate some pressure from the healers.
Oh, of course. Makes sense.
I mean, if I can, then I would play Burning Rush. But if sometimes you have to help the group with what you can, since you're a useless warlock and don't do anything.
I don't know. Come on. How about you brought up this a little while ago? It was sort of a brushed over comment. What sort of secondary stat breakdown is present for the Demonology Warlock in 815? Anything super awkward or?
It tends to be mastery heavy. With explosive potential, you go a bit lower on the haste because you get so much of it for free. Haste is a really good stat, but having so much of it for free makes each additional point worth less relatively. So you tend to go kind of high mastery with fairly low haste and a bit of crit and a bit of verse in there. But largely, I think Nal can back me up on this one. Secondary stat distributions doesn't really matter that much. It's just like they're all within. Like for me, when I do stat weight sims, they're all within 10% of each other, which is extremely close for a DPS play.
The one thing I was sort of like jabbing at this, but I'll do a little more. You were bringing up, Not said his power flickered. So
why I zoomed in? Oh,
it zoomed in because it moved the regions in Discord. Oh gosh, it's just Shelly and I right now, I guess. But you were talking, Shelly, about messing with stuff for the MDI coming up. And you were playing with secondary stats for...
Yeah. I was basically... I have access to tournament server. Not everyone does right now. I don't know why. They said they were going to bring it back up, but... Oh shit, that's close.
It is a little close.
I was going full mastery crit with a double baleful invocation.
Ooh.
And my tyrant was smacking, basically. I was doing like 40% of my damage or something ridiculous. And it was working pretty well. But I don't know if it's probably not obtainable on live servers. It's a very specific trait combination. And obviously on tournament servers, you can buy whatever you want in terms of gear with specific stats and Azeroth traits.
Okay. We do have confirmation in chat, hot off the press, that Drewish asked Brutal, and yes, he does leave it on. Burning Rush for healer padding. All right.
Perfect. There you go.
Scumbag.
I'm back, by the way.
Hello, yes, welcome back.
I mean, so I think what's happening is because it's very cold here, well, was very cold, and there's lots of snow, and all of a sudden now it's like getting into positive temperatures very suddenly. So like, yeah, power doesn't.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. What was the trait layout you were doing again? Just to double check before we got interrupted by the Discord bloopity blop.
Well, what I was testing was triple explosive potential with the one demonic meteor and double baleful invocation, which is what gives you 5 shards when you summon tyrant and also buffs your tyrant damage. So with soul conduit as a talent, so basically just fishing for really, really big tyrants.
Ooh.
I think I got up to, with Demon Hunter buff, I think I got it up to critting for like 140k or something.
Consistently, like over and over and over and over.
No, it's never consistent. It's never consistent because it depends on how many times you proc Soul Conduit and Demonic Meteor in the setup of your Tyrant. But I don't think that trait combination is very obtainable on lives.
Okay.
And everyone's going to be playing Outlaw and MDI anyway, so...
I'm really scared for like the triple Outlaw Rogue MDIs because it...
I mean, isn't that just going to be a repeat of like the triple monk from last MDI?
Potentially, yeah, it's possible.
We did pretty good with the Mage Warlock throughout the whole thing. So,
okay.
Previous MDI, I was positively surprised when I jumped on tournament server and saw the numbers that I could do on my Warlock.
Ooh.
But I don't think it will be enough.
Do either of you? Question from chat. Did you get your Dread Steed the old-fashioned way? I don't know if Shelly would be able to do this. Did you get your Dread Steed the old-fashioned way? Do you have the reagent still in your bank?
No, because I didn't play Warlock in Classic. I played a Warrior. And mostly because I liked eating after killing one mob for 30 seconds.
I got my Dreadsteed the old-fashioned way.
Oh,
but
you did?
Not have the Yes, but I do not have the reagents in my bank. When I said I started in TBC, it's actually a lie. I started like late vanilla, like really late vanilla.
My whole show, it's a lie.
But I got the Dreadsteed in TBC, but the old-fashioned way.
Okay.
I don't think you could get it any other way at the time.
Yeah, I didn't start playing Warlock until Wrath. So I played Warrior and Enhancement Shaman between Vanilla and Wrath.
There it is. How about what would be a good green fire quest that works with the themes of BFA? And I guess the caveat that you can tie onto that one is, does green fire do anything for demonology?
Yeah, it turns Burning Rush green. The only important spell you have.
Maybe Brutal would notice it more if his fire was green.
Oh, yeah, okay. I don't think it'll make a difference for him.
I mean, to be fair, it also only affects Burning Rush for Affliction, so the only spec that actually takes advantage of it is Destro.
Right. I think that's the hinted at, because it barely does anything for 2 of the specs, but does a lot for 1. Seems kind of silly. Yeah.
I think they could make Demon Bolt into a more green fire effect.
Ooh. And do you think is there any green fire quests that would work right now? Maybe a different color in BFA? What color do you want?
Probably not.
Oh.
I mean, like, in keeping theme with the Warlock thing, like, maybe something purpley, but, like, Demonology has lots of purpley stuff, and Shadow Bolt is purpley.
We got more purpley stuff with the new Demon Bolt proc.
You're right.
Yeah.
The ugliest animation proc.
It's more purple now.
It's so bad, though.
Isn't that... I remember that proc. So the actual Demon Bolt fire off is new, but the proc that swirls around your Warlock, that's old, right? That's Wrath, it looks like? That's super old, isn't it?
No, but they just redid it now.
No, they redid the, like, in-game weak aura effect.
Yeah.
They didn't redo the effect on your character.
Yeah.
That's what I meant. That's what I meant.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that effect looks like real bad.
It's poo-poo.
It's actually looks like someone just smeared poo on your screen.
Now,
across
I mean,
both sides of your character.
Yeah, at least it's purple.
Granted, you guys just get the brand new TVs and the ovens, so those both look fantastic, though, for Healthstones and Summons. Those look great. Maybe we'll get those.
I mean, yeah, I guess.
What? You guess?
I mean, how often do you actually look at the TV? Never.
Every raid, because there's always that person that never goes to the raid, even when it's Siege of Borealis for the Alliance, and it's right there in the town.
You're not actively looking at the front of the box. You're just looking at whatever is there. You just click on it.
Yeah.
Whenever they redid it, I was like, "Holy shit, this is cool!" And then I never thought about it again.
Oh yeah, there's a suggestion back on the fire. Golden fire for the Light Forged Undead. That needs to be Alliance only, though. Alliance only. Golden fire. Ooh, there we go. There we go. How about, are there any sort of don't sleep on X, Y, and Z bits for Demonology Warlocks that players should know about right now? For Demonology Warlock players, they should know right now. Not any... That question, I wrote that out, and it's a little bit confusing for me, but...
Yeah.
What you got?
Elaborate?
Yeah. Oh, no, well, it's... What would you tell a player that may be coming back to Demonology or switching from another spec to Demonology, so that you don't sleep on this, don't forget about this sort of thing, right?
Don't forget to summon imps.
I mean, the thing is, the spec basically plays itself right now. It's very intuitive. You build shards. You can only get 5 shards at a time. So if you're on 5 shards, you shouldn't cast a thing that would build a shard. You should cast something that would spend a shard. And outside of doing that and pressing your cooldowns on cooldown, there's very little to it, but it's surprisingly fun to play. So
the only exception to that is if you're playing Demonic Consumption. Then there's like a little bit of forethought where you shouldn't just like use your CDs on CD. You should use your CDs in a...
Well, yeah, but you should use them on CD, but with the correct setup.
Okay.
Right?
Sorry, I was distracted in chat because...
No, I see it.
Because Gorek did something. Mm-hmm. Oh, good gracious. I have to scroll back up to find questions now, Gorek. Thanks. No. I like the one I wanted to say. Don't leave your pet on passive.
Unless you want it on passive intentionally.
Do you use? Well, I guess you could use target macros for sure.
Yeah, no, but sometimes you don't want your pet to hit stuff because they will pull something or.
Oh, sure.
So pet control is important, but I wouldn't put too much focus into it until everything else is sorted.
Okay. How about, I guess the same kind of goes, are there any add-ons in that realm that you would suggest?
Outside of weak auras?
I guess that's the question, right? Is there anything that helps Warlocks a lot outside of weak auras? And is there a weak aura pack then that you want to mention?
I mean, Not's weak aura pack is pretty good. Find it in the Warlock Discord.
Pretty good. Let me go check. Yeah, weak auras 2. Let me see. Does this link to your... Where is your weak aura pack specifically? I have to find it now. Do I just look up Not or Not's Warlock on weakorago.io? I think. Oh, Not BFA. Oh, those are.
Hi.
Uh-oh.
My power died again, so I'm on my phone. I don't know if this sounds terrible or not.
A little bit, but it's funny. I'm trying to plug your weak auras, Not, and now you sound like a robot. So he's working on his weak auras right now. That's why he sounds like that.
I wish.
That's funny. This is an all-in-one pack, but it's flagged for all 3 specs. I see.
Yep. Yeah. So basically, it includes all of the specs, all of the talents you could possibly imagine, all of everything. And
all of everything.
All of everything for all eternity. It's everything you could ever ask.
Oh my goodness gracious. Look at how many... That's a lot of numbers. Oh gosh.
For what? Okay, sorry. My internet came back and then it kicked me off my phone, so...
Well, that works. Yeah. No, I'm just looking at the different images for the different... Like the Demonology one has all the trackers for your different summoned demons.
Yeah. Yeah, so it like includes everything that you could possibly want. And like if you didn't want something, you can turn it off. Like,
okay.
I made it with the intention of having everything available to you, and if you didn't want to use it, then the option was there for you to turn off. So.
Oh, of course. So wait, how about the sub to Sjeletyven to get his amazing weak auras?
Yeah, you can do that too. All my weak auras are that I use. Not everything is written by me, but like if you want everything that I use, they're available to my subscribers.
Over on your Twitch stream. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. How about... Oh, gosh. Are either of you... Oh, no. This is a trap question. Are either of you going to play Classic?
Yes, but probably not Warlock.
Oh.
I think that's going to be... Sorry.
I don't want to be a Shadow Bolt bot.
Oh.
I'm probably going to be like a side project that I would do when I'm not doing anything else. I don't think I will put it as a priority.
Sure. And what do you mean Shadow Bolt bot? You also have to put up Curse of Elements, all right, or Curse of Shadows.
Right. You're right. 2 abilities. I really don't want to do that.
Because
that life tap.
Add life tap.
Yeah.
Oh, that would come back.
If I'm being honest, what I'm going to do if I'm going to play Classic is play Enhancement Shaman, go get a 2-hander, and just win for your people forever. Because that's what I remember having the most fun doing.
This is you're on my show, not. That's why you're on my show. Yeah. But the question that was brought up in chat that Northern brought up was, have you looked at the classic Demonology talents and sort of trip back to memory lane with all of those? I don't even know.
Pretty sure they're the same, right? So something that is really boring. I mean, it's just going to be like a multi-spec again, right? Kind of thing. So
yeah,
every spec is going to do the same thing for the most part.
Classic WoW talent calculator Demonology. What would you even spec? Let me go. I'm going to go to the WoW head, go to the classic, because we're going to look at the talent calculator here in a moment for now. But let's see these amazing integrated. So we got increases the effect of your Imp's Firebolt, Fire Shield, and Blood Pact spells by 30%. Solid. And then you got to go with improved Health Stone. Improves the amount of health restored by Health Stone by 20%. Also solid. Maybe some health funnel action. Oh, you got to get mana on your pets because that was a thing because they could run out of mana. Oh man.
I think for the most part, you won't even go all the way down the tree, if I remember correctly.
Well, the bottom of the bottom of the tree is what? It's Soul Link and Improved Spellstone.
Yeah. I still have a Spellstone actually in my bank.
Ooh.
It's just hanging out. Can't be used, but it's just there.
It's not like a white item, is it? Is it broken item? It just won't. The trigger won't happen, will it?
Well, let me get back into the game, and I can tell you. But I mean, it definitely doesn't trigger anything, but I think it might just be a white item.
Speaking of which, shout out to Wowhead for their classic talent calculator guide. Instead of going to some random weird old website, they have imported and updated at least the launch version of what classic will be, because we know that the classic slate will have 6 cycles of content, I believe now. And there was one part in vanilla where there were talent updates sort of towards the end. So there's a bit of changing when they did the tier gear. I think they put that on the slate. So, but that's the launch anyway. Yeah.
I mean, you're just going to play SLSL and it doesn't matter. So.
Okay. How about... Yeah, we kind of went over this, I suppose, but how about what would you do to make Destruction Warlock or Affliction better in Mythic Plus? Is it because it sounds like a cooldown problem, right?
Definitely. You just have to make it less reliant on cooldowns.
Okay. Because they're both... Let me go back and look here, because you're looking at... They're both 3 minutes, you said, correct?
Yes. Affliction and Destruction both have 3-minute cooldowns, so...
And nothing in the talent tree that'll provide them with a additional cooldown versus Demo, which has multiple.
A Dark Glare or Infernal, which they're very flavorful, right? They're big old demon summons. I get it, but we got 3-minute cooldown. Yep.
Like the thing is with Mythic Plus is that things happen more than every 3 minutes, and when you're just like in this power slump for 2.5 minutes, like it doesn't feel good, and it doesn't feel good for your group. Even like you're owning for 30 seconds, and then you're very powerless for 2 minutes and 30 seconds. And when you go through those cycles, you don't really do a lot for the group.
Are there any interesting pieces of loot coming out in the Crucible of Storms mini raid on the horizon? Because we essentially have affixed or pseudo legendaries coming back in the game. Are any of the ones that are for Warlock or the cloth ones going to be something you're looking at picking up?
I honestly haven't looked at any of them.
Not. That makes sense.
What? I mean, like from what I did, like do a very casual glance over them, and none of them like looked very interesting,
right?
To me, anyway. But like, I don't know. I don't feel like it's going to have that much of an impact because, like, for example, none of our specs, aside from maybe Affliction, is going to really benefit from like an item that procs damage because we don't have any modifiers for like Demonology. There's no modifier basically for us, so it's not going to be a benefit for us to use it unless it has secondary stats, which is going to help us because everything we do is reliant on them.
Yeah, I was curious. Because there's some weird ones that are a bit of that trade-off, right? Where you open a fissure to the void beneath you for 12 seconds, increasing your haste by 438. That's the base version. Probably way more than that, actually, at Mythic or at Heroic, which will be easier to say. Moving out of the fissure will cause it to collapse, dealing a whole bunch of shadow damage to you, but standing in the fissure... Let me actually go the Malformed Heralds. Can I turn up the eye level of this? Look at it.
So, like, the thing with that is it's basically just like Gale of the Booncaller, right?
Right.
Like, for casters. And
yep.
If anyone has ever played Melee with that trinket, it's a nightmare. And it's be a nightmare even more for ranged because we have to do, or not have to, but generally speaking, have more mechanics to do. So we're going to hit it, and then we're going to have to move out of it, and then it's going to be done. You're not going to gain anything.
Well, I mean, you could argue that the ranged have the ability to hit things from range, and therefore don't have to move as much.
Yes, but how often does a melee have to move like 30 yards to like point A to point B
Right.
after you hit a thing? Like, generally speaking, will not ever happen.
Just curious if any of these, because all of them right now, a lot of the opinions, which is Knots is totally fine, kind of are lukewarm. You're like, oh. But I just 2 months from now, I'm gonna have a show, have a guest on, like, wear this piece, do this with these Azerite traits, right? Someone will find something ridiculous. I don't want it to be a Warlock thing, but there'll be some whatever that'll come out of this. I'm sure there will be. Whenever you add more affixed things in a system where we're already playing with all the different Azerite traits, and we'll have these pieces of gear going into the Heart of Azeroth 2.0 update with the Ajara patch, we'll see. We'll see. Keep a weather eye, I guess, for that one.
I mean, I agree. Like, I'm not gonna write anything off right now because like anything can change, right? But for the most part, we don't benefit from any kind of a proc, and for us to rely on something that is like, hey, it's casted, it's
Right.
gonna last on the ground for X seconds and not follow you. It's not usually a realistic situation that you're gonna be able to stand in that thing for the entire duration.
Oh, you gave me a picture of your spellstone. It doesn't even have anything else. It just says Grand Spellstone.
Yep, just that.
Soulbound unique, made by Knot. That's a
Yeah, it's
throwback.
beautiful though.
It's beautiful though. And last one, can Demonology partake in any cheesy cheese in the game right now? Obviously, the Demonic Tyrant thing was fixed, but how about anything else that comes to mind that is a little bit...
Well, Demonic Tyrant is still Demonic Tyrant, and even after nerf, I've been able to pull out some insane numbers in Mythic Plus openers, like going upwards to like 80, 85k
Ooh.
DPS openers. So it's definitely still a thing, but even after nerf.
Okay.
It's just a little bit harder to pull off as well.
Yes, definitely. You have to go through...
You have to pay a little bit more attention.
You have to time it right. So because of how the bonus percentage of damage from that your tyrant gets is calculated, it's based on the amount of energy that all your imps have combined left, right? So what you do is you get your buff like 4 seconds. You implode 4 seconds on. You have 5 shards, and you press implosion 4 seconds before the last mob, before the boss fight is about to die. And then you press hand, demon bolt, so that you sit on, hopefully, with some luck, 5 shards and 2 sets of imps with full energy, because they don't have time to cast a fireball on the trash going into the boss.
Oh, because they're just walking.
Exactly.
Oh.
So you kind of bypass the time where they were supposed to lose energy, and you can get some ridiculous numbers on your tyrants.
That's pretty much only going to be a thing though in Mythic Plus.
In Mythic Plus, yeah, for sure.
No other situation it's going to come up. So.
Yeah, that's
no
fine.
no rating. This is not rating. This is Mythic Plus only.
But that is, say it's a tyrannical week, so the trash is easy. Bosses are more difficult. You could sort of prep that on a trash pack before the boss.
Yeah, for sure. Like,
yes, you also have to be careful though of the duration, because like as they do time out based on energy, but they also do have a like timed duration that they'll time out on too.
Right.
So.
That's when you tell your tank to go.
Yeah,
or
you like
pull
go
yourself
right now.
All right.
Or you pull yourself.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, you pull. All right. Well.
Yes, I. If you do not pull, if you're tanking for me and you do not pull, I will pull.
So you pull it, you tank it.
I guess. If hopefully
that's fine.
not.
We take 20% less damage, so who cares?
Press unending resolve. Hope for the best.
Yeah, so we already take 20% less damage. Press unending resolve, and now you're basically a tank for 10 seconds or 8 seconds. Sorry.
So chat's bringing up. There's 2 questions: champion cheese or fountain cheese. I don't know what these are referring to.
I didn't actually do that at all, but basically it revolves around the same thing, manipulating the energy of your imps so that they do not shoot the boss if you stand in the fountain. So you can just let them sit on 100 energy, and you summon as many as you can within the 20-second time frame, press Tyrant, and it does ridiculous damage.
Oh, if you summon them in an out of LOS position, is that
basically.
Oh,
yeah, and they don't have a path. Like normally, if they're out of line of sight, they will walk line of sight, but they can't walk out of the fountain. because they're drowning or something. So, I mean, it's pretty shallow, small, right?
Right.
It's hard.
Okay. I like that. I'm going to bring up the talent calculator on live right now. We're in 8.1.5. And this is a bit more of the light guidey stuff that I want to make sure I bring back in because there's a lot of resources, again, on the Lock One-Stop Shop, or of course in Discord. But not... You want to run me through sort of the standardized build right now? And or, along that path, what talents are no-nos?
The standardized build is either Demonic Strength, Battlescourge Bombers in the first tier. Just ignore Dreadlash; it doesn't exist.
Oh,
Demonic Calling is pretty much the like FOTM talent, but Doom is technically the best if you could actually stand playing Doom. 45 tier doesn't really matter. Burning Rush is usually the standard. In the 60 tier, you're looking at Soul Strike or Summon Vilefiend, although Summon Vilefiend is kind of fallen out of the wayside a little bit, so basically Soul Strike. 75, Demonic Circle, I guess. I mean, nothing else really matters in that tier, I don't think. Tier 90, it's pretty much like Grimoire Felguard is basically never taken right now because of the energy fix. So Soul Conduit is probably your best bet, like overall. Inner Demons is probably okay, but it's not like super desirable. And then the 100 tier Demonic Consumption for everything.
For everything. Is the...
Yep.
Now some follow-up questions. Is Nether Portal still wonkus with if you summon it and you're 40 yards away, the mobs lose damage because of travel time, or has that been fixed?
Yep.
Oh. Okay. That's fun. So you still have to summon Nether Portal essentially in melee range?
You don't have to, but you definitely can.
Right.
Definitely a thing.
And this
I guess
is
that would go under the minor DPS increase tab.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, it's not worth like going out of your way every 3 minutes or on the pull to run into melee to do it.
That's so weird to me. Why doesn't it summon the portal at your target or above your target and then they just drop, I don't know, or below your target? It's so strange.
Flavor.
Flavor. What flavor is the Nether Portal?
The flavor that you just spec Demonic Consumption.
It's scary spice.
Scary spice. Ouch. The Grimoire Felguard. We went over this a little earlier, but to double check, this Felguard has the same energy problem as your base Felguard, or are they different?
They function the exact same
Okay.
in terms of energy. So
It was
the energy fix
crazy.
that happened. Yeah, it was crazy, but the energy fix that happened also affects the Grimoire Felguard.
All right. So
Like what happened before fix is that like if you had pre nerf explosive potential, you bought Bloodlust on a pack in Mythic Plus, you sent that guy in and you just press Tyrant and buffed so that it deals 15% more damage and extends it. At the end of the pull, you will see like Legion Strike from your Felguard, and other Felguard is doing like 60% of your damage. It was absolutely bonkers. It was broken, but it was really fun. So now you don't have that anymore.
right.
Feels bad.
Yeah. The session that comes up in chat, I think the same thing that I was echoing back in the beta about Nether Portal is it was neat and fun, and there's some cool demons that pop out of that thing. Pretty sure Malkazar can still pop out of it, which is really cool. But why does it scale with... It only is every time you spend soul shards instead of spending actual soul shards. So if you spend 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it's the same chance to summon anything as just spending 1.
The biggest problem I have with Nether Portal is that it feels really bad to play because of something we don't notice in the game anymore because of spell queue system, which is MS lag.
Oh,
it will
okay.
actually scale, like it will negatively scale with MS lag how much MS you have, because you are casting a Hand of Gul'dan at 1 shard to drop you to 0 shards to summon a portal out of your nether portal.
Sure.
Then you will have 0 shards, and you will then proceed to cast Shadow Bolt to get you up to 1 shard again. But you will not be able to. It's like you have 0 shards when that Shadow Bolt finishes, and the game won't allow you to cast the next hand until it registers that you have the shard. So you have this weird tiny delay in there, where you have 1 shard, but you can't cast hand until the game registers that you have 1 shard. Which doesn't happen when you go through when you build to 3 shards and summon a normal Hand of Gul'dan that consumes 3 shards, because then you would have 2 shards when the game registers it, then you could start to cast.
Because the one thing I looked at it was that it's wasn't wrong. The flavor of Nether Portal is neat, but why isn't that if you were to pop the Nether Portal and do your normal rotation, where you actually want to cast Hand of Gul'dans at more than 1 shard, why can't you cast it at 3 and get 3 demons to pop out?
No, that would be insane. That would fix everything.
It's a 3-minute cooldown that lasts for 15 seconds.
So it does fix things, but it also, like, I mean, it just doesn't change your rotation, right? It doesn't give you anything.
No, but it will feel better.
It definitely would feel better. I agree, but like, I think their idea of Nether Portal is that it's an rotation altering like ability, which like fits in with Demonology, but it's also like kind of clunky at the same time.
Is Shadowbolt Hand of Gul'dan at 1, Shadowbolt Hand of Gul'dan at 1, Shadowbolt Hand of Gul'dan at 1 for 15 seconds that fun or rotation changing though?
No.
It's really lame.
It makes me think of the like demonic empowerment spam, basically. That's what it makes me think of. That's what it makes me think of.
We went almost the whole show without you saying demonic empowerment. I'm so surprised.
That's what it makes me feel, though.
I'm actually flabbergasted. We lasted almost an hour and a half, and that was the first time you said it. Oh, that's so good. I baited it twice out. You're so good. Damn. Shelly, it's okay. It'll be okay.
I don't want it. Demonic empowerment.
I don't want it either.
Play Demo and Legion. It's the only reason.
Oh, it's funny.
Listen, like, it was better than like alpha version of demonic empowerment, at least, where like it was random demons, whatever was your quote unquote strongest demon.
Oh man, that's funny. I don't even play Warlock, but all the testing I've done, I know the feel of that, and of course the show in Legion and hearing you guys, and that's funny.
Demonic empowerment Shadowbolt, demonic empowerment Shadowbolt, demonic empowerment Shadowbolt. What's not fun about that?
What was that? That was a time.
That was the rotation. Yeah, it was great. Not.
Right. Not. That's funny. I like that. But that's funny that's sort of where we're at with that ability. Because, yeah, it's flavorful and neat, but the whole point of playing Demonology Warlock is to feel like you're in charge of this demonic zoo all the time. And consumption is one that works with a main cooldown, interacts with your imps, your main resource, right? Your main sort of resource to build, spend, kind of that main part of the build. Nether Portal is just a different version of that would still essentially do the same thing, but at least it would be a flavored one where instead of having one big old demon boy, you have a whole slew of different demons, right? But they could functionally be really close in damage. Just one would be more burst, because 3-minute cooldown versus 1.5 minutes. I just don't know why that's the goal, I think. But that Shadowbolt 1 Soul Shard Hand of Gul'dan is so lame.
Yep.
Super lame. But I guess, yeah, what do you think of the Hand of Gul'dan change that won't let you cast it unless you're facing your target again? I didn't know this. Is this a thing? Get to be...
Yep.
Yeah, you could cast it when you were facing away from your target, which was surprisingly good.
I mean, it's been in the game like that in its entire iteration. You were able to cast hand without any targeting differential or requirement for the entire game, literally the entire. And now all of a sudden it's required, and it's kind of annoying, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, there are a lot of caster abilities that you can cast while not looking at your target, though. So I wonder why that one got squelched specifically.
I mean, I guess they're trying to make it more like it's Immolate, because Immolate has the requirement to face their target.
Maybe.
But like none of the AF dots.
Yeah, unstable.
None of the AF dots do.
Why?
Like any
reason.
heal, I don't think needs a target. You can face wherever you want, heal everywhere.
Yeah.
It's a weird
Well,
one.
that would actually be insane though if you needed to face your target to cast a holy shot.
Well, certain, but it's just weird that one specifically. Imagine having to face heals.
Dogs, you can cast dogs without facing something.
Yeah, and Soul Strike and Implosion.
Yep, you can do basically everything else except It's kind of a very awkward change and something that they just slid underneath the rug and think again one of those things that they just think we won't notice or care about.
That's a weird one.
But we do care.
Yeah, Blizzard, we care. Come on.
Yeah, for sure.
Warlocks are people too.
Well,
No, we're not.
depends on how much you complain on the forums.
People go on the WoW forum still?
We're fiends.
I guess so. Yeah. Define person. What's a forum? Chat. Oh, chat. But I suppose that sort of brings us to the end of everything here today. But we do have some time. If you have closing shout-outs, remarks, some soapbox time, if you want to partake any various bits of wisdom or anything you would like to bring up and rant about to close the show out, this is your time. Shelly, do you have anything you want to?
Yeah, sure. It's basically I have a lot of people asking me questions. I do stream a lot, and people ask me questions all the time. And one thing that comes up a lot is like, how do you open? And it was brought up earlier in the show, and like we said, it is just don't think too much about it. Just press buttons, and damage will come eventually when you learn how to play. So that's basically it. Just have fun with the spec, and like you'll get there.
But make sure you have imps.
Yeah, imps is important, and buff.
Okay. Nothing you need to bring up to share your piece on about, or at least speak your mind in regards to the spec right now. Everything's good outside of I think we had an overall potential community thumbs up in regards of the gameplay that was removed in the recent patch. The number should have been tweaked down, but the gameplay being removed was thing. But anything else that you wanted to bring up?
For me?
Yeah, for you, sir.
I kind of, to be honest, I really spaced out. I thought you were talking to Not.
No, you're good. I always wanted to make sure we're on the same page.
No, it's that's it. Stay happy, people.
I like that. Don't play Affliction?
You can play Affliction if you want to, but
okay.
we'd rather you didn't.
Oh.
No king rules forever, after all.
Yeah. Not. What about you, sir? What do you want to close out with? Any tidbits of wisdom, things you want to rant about, moratoriums you want to post? Anything you got?
Not really. I mean, just continue using the resources that are out there and available to you. Motoko actually, not too long ago, revamped all of the Icy Veins guides, so they're all in line with the guides that you'll find on Lost, the guides you'll find on Wowhead.
Ooh.
So basically, all of the resources, the three kings of resources, basically, are all in line. There's no confusion between them anymore, so play whatever you want to play, do whatever you want to do, read whatever guide you want to read, support whoever you want to support. It's all going to be the same, and we're working always towards improving on that also. So feedback is always welcome. We want feedback, and we don't always get it, but the feedback that we do get is always going to be good. So
awesome. Also, read the pins, right?
Nah, just read the guide.
Okay.
Then you don't need to rely on the pins.
Don't even read the pins. See, you heard it right here first. That's going to be clipped and taken out of context. I'll take that. I like that. But yes, definitely a good ending show shout out. Start off with, of course, the Lock onestopshop.com for all of the Warlock resources, links to the different guides they are in, as well as the Discord. If you haven't already jumped in there, that may answer a lot of your questions that are the more guidey oriented stuff that we didn't go over on the show today. But I think that about wraps it up. I'm going to hit this button over here that is, this plays music, and then we'll take it away. So thank you very much for tuning in to episode number 183 of Final Boss TV today about the Demonology Warlocks in the patch 8.1.5 environment. We'll have Affliction and Destruction on in the future. Sort of how the spec shows work is that we have to do blocks of 12, trying to get one spec from every class. Druid and Demon Hunter will be a little weird, but in a way, once we get through all 12, we'll do another block of the 4 pure DPS again, and they'll close us out for the expansion at the end there as well, or wherever we are in a year from now. But my name's Adam KK. Thank you for tuning in to the show today. Sjeletyven, you can go follow him over on the Twitters at the same name. I think your Twitch URL is the same as well, right? Nothing crazy there?
Twitch is with the Sjeletyven and one.
Oh.
So it's not, you just put a 1 after, and then you're good.
Awesome. But thank you for being on the show again, sir. Appreciate your time. Hopefully we get to talk again.
Thank you.
Maybe Mythic Plus, maybe MDI stuff. Good luck in that, by the way.
Thank you.
What comp are you running for the MDI?
Secrets.
Oh. Dang it. I tried to get it, chat. I tried to get it. You're going to play Rogue, right?
I will play whatever is necessary.
Very, very PR answer. I like it. But good luck. It should be fun. This season's going to be rough, yeah?
Yeah, there's a lot of really, really good teams signing up, so it's good. The competition in West is going to be rough for sure.
That's awesome. Thank you for being on the show again today, sir. Sorry your camera broke, but you can go make fun of him over on Twitter at Knots Warlock and tell him to fix his damn camera.
I mean, I tried. For like 3 hours.
Oh my gosh. It's just technical problems. But if you need to go see I was going to grab a screen cap from your previous show and just slap it on your troll, but I didn't. I wasn't fast enough. But thank you very much.
Pretty funny though.
Yeah, it would have. I mean, you can go back and look at all that. I mean, he'll be in the thumbnail though, because he's going to take some selfies for me, so you can see him there. But thank you very much for your time again, sir. Greatly appreciate it, and I'm sure many of the Warlocks appreciate what you do.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me again. It's always a good time, so hopefully it'll be like another year before you need me again.
Well, I mean, you don't want to talk about Affliction, right? That's THD, right? He has to talk about that.
Obviously, that's always THD. Okay. Always.
And Gato?
Gato loves everything about Warlock, so I'm sure if we had asked him, he probably would have come, but he is an Affliction main, apparently, according to Discord, so...
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
We found it! I don't know, can Gato handle THD on a show for 90 minutes? Is that doable?
I don't see why not. I mean, he handles Discord 24/7, so...
All right, we'll look forward to that in the future. Again, thank you for tuning in today. Check the links down below if you want to support the show, the stream, and everything in between. And check out the other BTS after shows. We're going to go sit down and sort of decompress and have a little bit of talk after this with my 2 guests as well. So you get more of that over on Patreon. And then if you want to support what I do here, links are down below on YouTube and on Twitch. And if you're on iTunes, Stitcher, or Google Play Music, and you have the audio only going on right now, hopefully the IRL MMO is treating you well. But all the links are over here. So come back over here, be here for the live show. And I will see you all here next week. So until then, we have Arcane Mage coming up next week. Then I'll be streaming live from PAX East the Sunday after that. And then we have BM Hunter the Sunday after that. And then we'll figure out what's going on after that one. It'll be probably Druids or something. The next 8. Let you know more about that on Twitter. Thank you very much for watching. Bye! So you gotta wave, because Not can't wave. Wave at the nice people. Wave at them. Or just make a face. You're doing it. Yeah, there we go. We got...